Good afternoon, Year 3, and welcome to your last lesson of the term. Okay, now this is probably one of the most important lessons we've done all term. And I know last week's PSHE touched on mental health and well-being, but this lesson is really focusing on your well-being and asking you just to reflect on that and to see how you can improve it going into next term. Okay, because I'm just going to take this opportunity to say that you are children and you are living through a very strange time. It's strange for adults and you are coping so incredibly well. Okay, learning from home is not easy. You might have brothers and sisters who are also learning from home. Your parents and carers might be working from home. Okay, it's not a normal situation and you are doing so well. But it's really important that we look at your well-being and how we can check that you've got good well-being and how we can build on it, okay? Because your education is so important. But if you haven't got a good well-being, then you can't have a good education, okay? Because to learn in the correct mindset, you need to feel happy and comfortable, okay? So our aim today, hopefully by the end of the lesson, you'll understand that there are strategies and behaviours that support your mental health and well-being and how we're going to be successful. Hopefully, you'll be able to think of ways that you can be kind to yourself. You'll be able to list the things you have control over and the things you can't control. You can think of ways to connect with other people for support, and you'll be able to reflect on your well-being this term and think of ways to improve or support it. So the big questions, what is well-being and how can I look after my own well-being? So as I said, I know we touched on this last lesson, but I just want you to pause the video now and either have a chat or have a think on your own. What is well-being and what can you do to improve it? Okay, so when you try to look after your own well-being, you think about how comfortable you are, both physically and mentally, how healthy you are, both physically and mentally, and how happy you are. If life changes, you may feel a lack of control, which can then make you feel unsettled. This can affect your well-being and how you feel. Changes can take you out of your comfort zone and make you see life a bit differently, all of which can be unsettling. Okay? So well-being is explained as feeling comfortable, healthy, or happy. When people are dealing with change, they often try and control the things they can. This might be as simple as what they buy from the shop or what their home looks like. When people feel anxious or worried about changes, they will try and control any areas of their life that they can. This may not be the right thing to do, but it is often done by people trying to look after their well-being in the only way they know how. Okay, so that's the first port of call that people often go to without even realising it. But today we're going to look at some other ways to look after your well-being, especially in times of change. Okay, now this is the most important thing of all. Be kind. Okay, when change is happening in the world around you or when things feel a bit more difficult, it is important to remember to be kind in what you think, say and do. And the most important person that this starts with is being kind to yourself. Okay, you must be kind to others too, but that's very difficult to do if you're not being kind to yourself. Okay, so it all starts with you. When choosing how to react and respond to other people, it is important to understand why they are behaving in a certain way, as well as their emotions or situation. This knowledge is important for helping you to understand their behaviour and words, but also how to forgive and be kind if necessary. And going back to what I just said, You actually need to do this with yourself as well. Sometimes you need to take a step back and think, okay, why am I feeling this way? Why am I acting this way? It is all to do with you, okay? As I said, if you're not being kind to yourself, you're going to find it difficult to support other people. You can't pour from an empty cup, okay? That means if you haven't been looking after yourself, you won't be able to help other people. We often take time to show gratitude to others, but it is important as part of self-care that we show ourselves thanks and gratitude. This is a really good point. Remember to speak to yourself and about yourself in a way that you would with someone else you care about. Okay? The voice in your head is there all of the time. And it's really important that when you think of yourself, it's in a good light. Okay? Always treat yourselves how you would your best friend. Often people speak unkindly about themselves in a way they would never speak about someone else. It is important to know the effect we have on ourselves and on our well-being when we do this. Okay, so now we're going to think of ways that we can help to be kind to ourselves. Okay, now some of these ideas might seem a bit strange to you at first, but they do work. Okay, so the first one, ask others to write a positive note about you and pop these in a jar to read yourself. Now that can be your siblings, your parents, your carers, or you could even ask whoever looks after you at home, oh, can I phone granny, granddad, auntie, see if they would take part in this, and you can write down what they say. And then if any time you start to feel doubt towards yourself, or you're having a bit of one of those days where there's nothing that's really happened, but you're just feeling a bit down in the dumps, and you can go and pull one of those out, okay, and read it, and it will cheer you up. This is really important. Surround yourself with people who motivate and inspire you. This is both in person, in the news, and online. Okay. Now, if you're reading the news or you're watching the news and at the moment there's a lot of doom and gloom and it's upsetting you, then maybe it's time to have a break from that. It's important to be informed. We like to know what's going on. At the same time, if this is affecting our well-being, then maybe it's time we take a break. Okay. Ensure there is something or someone in your life that you care about that needs your love and care. This could be your family, pets, or plants. Okay, now I know from speaking to your parents and carers over this lockdown, they are so, so proud of you and they care about you so much. The time they are taking to support you with your learning, especially if you've got brothers or sisters or they're working themselves, they care about you so, so much. Okay, and they will always need your love and care. So when we have that focus where we can help someone else, that actually in turn makes us feel good about themselves. If you see mum or auntie or granny or granddad's a little bit stressed, if they live with you, you could just help them with a small job. And by doing that, you will boost yourself as well. Okay, if anyone says anything negative about you or to you, try and think of a positive about yourself to balance that view. Now, people that say negative things to us are normally feeling insecure themselves, okay? And they don't really know you. If they say something negative about you, that's a reflection of how they're feeling. Because think about it, if you're in a really good, upbeat mood, you don't want to be negative to anyone else, do you? But if we're feeling a bit grumpy and a bit cross with ourselves, that's when we lash out at others, okay? Now remember, the most important opinion of yourself is yours. So if someone says something horrible about you, why are you going to listen to that negative? Okay, you know who you are. You know how clever you are, how kind you are, okay? So just focus on that. I know it's sometimes easier said than done, but it's really important that we focus on the positives. Okay, now this is a good one. When someone pays you a compliment, make sure you say thank you rather than responding with self-criticism or by ignoring it. It is important to accept a compliment. Now, this is often done, and I know adults do this as well. If someone says, "Oh, you look nice today," they might say, "Oh, yeah, well, I actually had time to wash my hair." They brush it off. Instead of just saying, "Oh, thank you," okay, accept the compliment. Someone has gone out of their way to compliment you, to say something nice. You accept that, okay, and you take that on board. Okay, here are a few more ideas. Now, you have been so busy with your online learning, and I know there is a lot of lessons that we do. And in our school day, we do them all together, and it's pacey and it's quick, and you're in your classroom. At home, it's very different. You might be sharing a device with your siblings. You might have to wait for your parent or carer to help you, okay? Now, it's really important that half term is coming up. You switch completely off from learning. As I said, your education is incredibly important, but your mental health and your well-being comes first, okay? So over half term, please just switch off and do some relaxing things or fun games instead. Okay, now this next one sounds strange, but this works, okay? So write down positive thoughts about yourself and say these out loud. Now, these are called affirmations, and it really helps if you do these when you're looking into a mirror. And at first you'll think, oh, this feels a bit weird, but what it actually does is it rewires your brain. And even if you don't believe those positive things at first, the more you say them, you'll actually start to believe them and it will make you feel much more confident. Okay. Next one, really important. Spend some time reading a book or listening to your favorite music. Just a bit of escapism. Okay. You might love reading. If so, do that. You might just want a break and you might just want to sit somewhere quietly and listen to your favorite music, or you might want to get up and dance around to your favorite music, okay? Really important for your well-being. And the last one here, this might not be an option for some of you, depending on where you're living or what your situation is, but if you can, spend some time outside and enjoy the world around you. Everybody is so busy with work at the moment, but it's really important. It's really important where you can just to get out and have a break, especially if you've been staring at a screen. I know I've been so busy with work. So last weekend, we actually went out for a walk, and just getting out and having the fresh air and stretching your legs, it's really, really good for you, okay? Okay, another important part of well-being is being connected with other people. This is called a support network. You will be part of other people's support networks where you will support their well-being, and other people will be in your support network. This might include family, friends, teachers at school, and members of the community. If you're having difficulty with your well-being, it is really important to reach out and connect with someone in your support network. Connections are a really important part of your well-being. And for these to be strong, you need to put time and energy into creating and keeping these. It isn't always easy, but it is important for you to have others that look out for your well-being and support it. Okay, now I know this is difficult given the current situations. So it probably won't be through face-to-face interactions unless it's with someone within your bubble. It might be your parents, carers, your siblings. But you could reach out to people in your support network in a different way. So if it's granny, granddad, auntie, you might want to write them a letter. Messaging, telephone calls, video calls, or playing games together on the internet. Now, it's so important you always check with your parents and carers first if you want to go online, and also make sure if you are playing games with people on the internet, it is people you actually know, not strangers, okay? Strangers are not part of your support network. The support network is people that you know, you can trust, and they care about you. Now, can I just say, that at school, Miss Fernandez and I, Miss Chandler and Mrs. White, we are part of your support network. If you are ever struggling or you're feeling like it's all too much, you get your parents and carers to email us, Year 3 at the Palmer Academy, and we will do what we can to support you. Okay? As I said earlier, these are crazy times. You're learning from home. You are doing so well with it. But if there's ever a time when you feel just burnt out or stressed, please let us know, okay? Because we would hate to be setting up these lessons and things and then finding out later that they were actually causing you stress and you were really struggling. If you let us know, then we can put things in place to support you with that. So as I said, your education is utmost important, but you can't learn if you're not feeling happy and comfortable. Okay. Another part of coping with times of change or stress is ensuring the way that you see the situation is through a positive mindset. This means looking for opportunities in every situation, no matter how challenging or difficult they are. This approach can help you to see life in a different way, think about the priorities in your life, value people over things, remember what is important in your life, know how important your health and well-being are, and know how important it is to love others and be loved. Now, I'm sure we all can think of somebody who comes across as having a positive mindset. And it does spread. If you spend time with those people or you talk to those people, you start to get that positive mindset as well, okay? Now, we can all do this. It takes energy and a bit of practicing, but the more you do it, the more you find the positive in things, the easier it will become. Okay, your mind is like a muscle. You keep working on it, it will grow the way you want it to. Okay, now we all have those days where we see the negatives in things, don't we? Something goes wrong in the morning, you think, that's it, it's a bad day. And then every little thing annoys you. At that point, you can stop, you can reflect. What's really important right now? Does it matter that I spilt a bit of porridge this morning? Does it matter that my Amazon delivery hasn't turned up when it said it was going to? Not really. Okay, it's so important that you reevaluate and you think, actually, it might be a bad 5 minutes. I don't have to turn it into a bad day. And this positive mindset, just going back to your learning as well, you are learning. And if you don't get everything right on a quiz or an assignment, that is absolutely fine. If you were getting everything right, you wouldn't need to be in school. Through our mistakes, we learn, okay? And take that as a positive. Now, we are actually meant to give you next steps in your learning as well. Never see those next steps as, oh, I didn't get that right, or, oh, I didn't do enough. We are told that we have to give you next steps on most of your learning, okay? Please don't see it as negative. Use that positive mindset. Now, as we mentioned earlier, there are things in life we have control over, and there are things in life that we don't. And it's really important to break down your thoughts and worries into the things you can control and the things you can't. And this will help you to realise what you should spend your time thinking about and working on, and which things that No matter how much you think about them, no matter how much you worry about them, you can't change. So it's a waste of energy. Okay, and I know it's easier said than done, but again, the more you do it, the more natural it will become. Okay, so to round off today's lesson, there is a well-being quiz for you to complete on Teams. And this is an expectation for your lesson, so we would like you to do this, okay? Won't take very long, but it's really important because it's asking you to reflect on your well-being this term and just to let us know if there's anything we can do to help you. There is also an optional quiz for your adults. Now, they don't have to do it, but if they would like to, then we would really welcome that. Okay, so if your parents or carers aren't watching with you, when they've got 5 minutes, you can just explain to them, oh, can you watch this last bit of Miss Davis's video? Because we just want to gather a little bit of information about how we can support you better with your well-being. Okay, so take your time in doing your quiz, and it's really important that you reflect on this. And as we go into half term, I just want to say, again, a massive well done. You have adapted to this online learning so amazingly well. You're being so resilient, but please, over this half term, just take times for you. Okay? Take care, children and families, because you're doing an amazing job as well. Thank you so much. Bye.